860 E double.
We back.
Take your device.
So, this segment here, we promised you, we got three of the most recognized, greatest shortstops in the room. This segment we get ready to go on is about gold gloves, big hits, and championships. These are three guys that have covered all those bases. So I'm gonna let Al kick this interview off, and then I'll jump in along the way.
Listen, I've done a lot of interviews so far. I know I said I was gonna do 30, I'm at 25. I know because I checked. And out of all 25 interviews, you three come up. What make you three special? That everybody has to put you in second, short, and third.
To me, what makes us special? I think we all are different, but we all the same. My assessment, or I would say, looking from the outside in, if I would say Al Watson is like the suit and tie dresser, going to work to be a draftsman. Butch is the foreman, and I'm the construction worker that get hurt on the job. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know why you use that get hurt as a time. But yeah.
Al comes in, clean, does the clean work, looks good at it, professional. Butch comes in as the foreman, make sure everything is right, vocal, make sure everything is perfect, and I come in and I do the dirty work. I get dirty, I dive, and stuff like that, and that's how I think we separate each other. That's the way I can see it. We all the same. You know me?
Yeah, you go.
Well, I agree. I think we basically all the same. We all have a will to win. When we step on that field, to be honest, none of us matters but winning. You know, and we're going to give 110% and make sure everybody else gives 110%. To me, the difference may be athletic. He's more diver, backhands in the hole, off his feet, flying through the air. Like he said, Al is smooth. Al gonna get the balls, flip it behind his back, bounce it to you. Me, I'm just a regular, I'm gonna go get the ball wherever it's at and try to make the best play that's available.
Yeah, for me, I really think we pretty much all the same. And I was talking to Ricardo, and Ricardo jogged my memory or something, and what makes us unique is his speed, right? His speed was something that I wish I had. Right now, I wish I could run fast. Like him, move, EU. Like I was more quick than fast. This guy was just fast and quick. Right? Butch was that guy, that sure-handed guy. Like he didn't need to catch it behind his back, between his legs. You know, he was a fundamental guy, which is not a knock. It's a great quality. He was the big fundamental. Right, I'm taking a basketball term. I think I was more Iverson, trying to woo people, and Seven was more like Hardaway. You know what I mean? Tim Hardaway, not Pitt. You know what I mean? Kind of an acrobat, I think. That's what I believe.
On to the same thing.
So we all the same. We all basically are the same. Yeah. You know what I'm
Just
saying?
one, no matter what you get.
Make our team better, unselfish, make other people better, help the team. Anything we do to help the team, we all the same. All the same.
And we play on one together.
And the best thing I can say, we all humble. You never hear us talk about ourselves. We always talk about each other. You ask Al about me, he gonna talk about me to the fullest. You ask me about Al, ask me about Butch, vice versa. But you never hear us come out there and say, I did this, I did this, I did it, everybody else do it. Because sometimes we don't even know what we did.
Right.
We don't even know what we did.
That's true.
We don't even know what we did.
I agree.
It is out there. And it's God given. We don't even know.
Yeah, for me, Seven was a quiet storm. Quiet storm. Right. Butch was the thunder. You know what I mean? I just try to bring the sun out.
You was the calm before.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
That's a good
I was gonna
analogy.
say, calm before the storm. There's a buildup.
For real.
And when we played together, we didn't really care who played short.
That's right.
Because it was always, nah, you play, nah, you play, you play.
Unselfish.
We didn't care. It didn't matter to us.
You go, we should fight, you go.
Right.
Same thing y'all doing right now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you see they all smiling on.
It's like triplets.
Like
y'all
triplets,
doing.
Yeah, it is.
And I thought that was ironic too, to play with you guys, and I've seen you guys, you go here, you go here. No, I don't wanna go here.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that, I really didn't understand, I'm like, but I did you.
Push your button, but it's anyway.
Yeah.
But you know what that was about? That everybody looked at us as shortstops. So to really pay homage to these two, you do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? You do it. And I like to see other people see them play, because they've seen me play. And you can see them, if not better, just as good. You
That's
know
how
what I'm
we
saying?
talk about it too.
So that's why, even when it comes to recruiting, for me, everybody's a shortstop because that's the glamour. So to get someone that I really want, they say, no, you go shortstop, but I'm a second baseman, you play. So actually, in Kingston, I played more second base than shortstop.
Absolutely.
True. Yep.
To get Dave Biardi's of the world, to get play with Butch, to play with Dave Bizarro,
Me too.
and
Yeah,
Frankie
yeah,
Rodriguez.
yeah.
Everybody was the shortstop.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't come play with me because they knew
They felt that.
Yes,
that,
yeah.
oh, these guys are big and watching up, where am I gonna play? You can play shortstop, it's okay.
And we tell everybody too, yo, we'll move.
We'll move.
We'll move. We gonna work it out. If your shot position is shortstop and that's the best position for you, we gonna move because it don't matter to us because we gonna be winners. We gonna figure it out.
We're gonna figure it out.
We gonna figure it
My
out.
brother was there too.
All right, fellas. That wasn't a question that I thought was going to surprise us. Because of the humility.
Yeah.
All of you guys are very humble.
Yes.
You've given back to the game immensely. So
Appreciate it.
what came out of your mouths was expected. I could have wrote it down the same way you wrote.
Definitely.
Just spoke it. So let's lead off with this one. Set the stage.
All right.
How did you begin your journey being considered as one of the greatest? And I'm posing the same question to you,
My journey
Mr.
started-
Fundamental, and you also.
My journey started from my first coach, and that was my pops. So it started as being a park baby, a bat boy, a gopher, watching, and being a fan. Being a fan. I'm a super fan. I'm a super fan of the game. And that's where it started, but then it goes to Gershom, Bessie Head, Forster and Ostrom. What's that? Stillwell, that NP Stillwell, Luna Park, Dickman's, D91st, my father all over the place. Upstate Orangeburg, just being around the game until I started playing baseball myself. But my softball career started in Gershwin, watching this guy right here, watching behind the fence, me, Chris Howard, Kiva, Gabe Golston daughter, we all was park babies. watching until I got the chance to play in the park. But everybody wanted to play with T's Devils, which my father was playing for. Because I'm not playing with him. I'm own name. I'm not going to play underneath him. So it was a team called Rankin. It was a Kifu team on the block. That was playing in the league, the worst team ever. it was terrible. But I didn't care. I wanted to play. Because I know I could compete a little bit, you know. I played with them, lost every game. First year we didn't win. Second year, they had me pitch a little bit. Because I was playing, they had me pitch a little bit. We won like 4 games. We thought we was it. And then I got recruited by Nat to play with the brothers, with Butch. So I played with the brothers. We did good, went to the playoffs. Right, we went to the playoffs and everything. From there, after that was 88. I left to go to the service.
Hold there.
Say it again?
Hold there.
Totally.
I don't want you to say no more. Say no more. Answer the same question.
I started in Betsy Head, playing on a losing team called the Spades. We were terrible. I mean, but you know, somebody got to be good on these teams. So I played with them. Then I got recruited by Nat, the brothers. Now Nat really helped solidify who I was as a player, even at that young age, because he made sure you knew everything about every situation you could be in on the field. He used to put everybody in right field. Hit the ball in left, it didn't matter if it was a pitcher, a catcher, a bench coach. He put everybody in right field. You had to hit the ball, he would tell you when you get to the ball where to throw it and who to throw the ball to. So that's how I learned how to be precise in my throws and stuff like that, because in that practice, if one person messed up, the whole person had to go, everybody had to go back out to the outfield. One person. So that's where my perfection came, like, you know, I gotta make sure we do it right. And even then, I was a leader, they're like, yo, come on guys, we got to do it. Because I didn't want to do practice again. One of the next practice is ridiculous. It was like Chris practices. Okay? But worse. Because Nat used to hit until his hands bled. And this is Keeper's father. He used to hit, we used to be in the park until dark. From 12 o'clock to dark, practice on Saturday. And then we had to be in the park Sunday and play. So then I played with them Paladins. We won the last couple of years there. And then I went to Kingston. That's where I met Dave. And then, you know, it really had nothing to say about something like that.
You hold there too. You stop right there too.
Get my Dave too.
Mr. Watson, same question.
Yeah, well, I lived, my journey started in Gershman. I was a basketball player.
Damn good one, y'all don't know.
Yeah, that was my game.
Stud.
And I grew up in Linden Project, which was right across the street from Gershman. My softball journey started behind my building. Playing with Derek Matamora, Delroy, Rob McQueen, and those legends of the game guys, and just having fun. I was in basketball. And my window in the projects, from my bedroom window, I could see the whole game. And I really got entrenched in it, even though in basketball, watching this one particular guy. It's just something about him. Leon. Just when he ran, his hair, his hands were like incredible. He was just somebody. When he came, I was downstairs, and that's me, this guy, and that was my journey, like really starting, and then wanting to play when I saw teams like because he played with Brooklyn, of course, and watching just the Wild Bunch. Something about the Wild Bunch, the way they carried, the way Donnie and Beaver ran that organization, and the way they had the look, they had the chicks, they had the jewels, they had the money. There's something about that really intrigued me. So that's when I really wanted to play in that league. You know, and at 15, I started Robbie McQueen, played with BC All-Stars, 1-2 years, and then I played with Dave Goldstein. And still young, and I remember Dave asked me if I could travel back to my mom, you know what I mean? Like, and, you know, a white guy taking a kid, you know what I mean? And she believed in Dave so much that she became my alarm for Dave. Dave is downstairs, get up, like, you know, that type of thing. My mother and father loved Dave Goldstein. They trusted that man. He was like a second father to me. Like, that's my start into this world of softball, you know.
They had a lot to do with it.
What's amazing about what we just heard, again,
All of us, big time.
it was a common thread once again. Gershman Park, Nat Wilson,
Dave Goldstein.
Dave Goldstein, So you guys have been intertwined
For years.
for years. So
decades.
when you're recognized only as a number, which all three of you were, that speaks volumes to me.
I'm gonna go in about the Dave Goldstein, since y'all all had an affiliation with that. What did Dave Goldstein do for you? Not just on a softball level, because personally, I had the opportunity to play with him. But for you guys, because y'all speak very highly of him.
Can I start?
You can start.
That's why I look at the director, that's why I look at it.
Your story is great. I know your story is great, bro.
If you get emotional thinking about him,
Yes, you can. I don't know.
when you didn't have no money, Dave had you. You needed a ride to Manhattan, Dave had you. You needed something to eat in the morning just to get your day started, Dave had you. Dave had you like no one. We used to say Dave was not only a coach, but he was also a human resource person.
Yes.
Him and Bob Solowitz, like
Yes.
it's intertwined the two, because they also provided a job. I was too young to get a job at the time, but our whole team was working, had city jobs through Dave. He was a resource. And I don't go long, but this is important for me. I had to sit down for a little while. I was out of control a little bit. I had to sit down, we'll take a little break. You know, you need a break. And I remember Dave, every year, Dave used to write me a letter. A fucking letter. I miss you. Are you coming home this year? So I can put you on the roster. He did that for 4 years for me. And I remember responding, Dave, I'm coming home. And that was the end of September of 90. And I came home, and in 91, I got reintroduced to Kingston Park, because the league was in Gershwin when I left. In Kingston when I got home. With Dave just standing by me when all my dudes, chicks, partners, had kind of went by the wayside. Every year, Dave always stood by me, and I will never forget that man.
Butch.
Solid.
It's kind of the same story with like now, you know. My father wasn't around when I was a kid. And it's gonna get emotional.
Take your time.
And you know, when you really don't have somebody to look up to, and then you meet somebody that puts you in a direction to help straighten out your life and stuff like that, that was Dave. You know, that was Dave. Like, he showed me how to be a man. He showed me how to pay bills, how to take care of stuff. I need to take what came first, this and that. You know.
Take your time. Take a sip of water if you need to.
Dave was my best friend, my father, my brother, my uncle. It didn't matter where I was. If I called Dave and said, I need you, he was there. Didn't ask no questions. He didn't throw his little wisdom in like, yo, how long you gonna do this? You know, and it make you think about things, you know, and like I said, he was, I just love playing for him. You know, I could have played for one better. You know what I'm saying? Speedy came to my house, but I already played the season with Dave in the fall. We won like 4 championships. I never won anything. So when Speedy came, I was like, nah, I'm gonna stay with Dave. Even though we never beat more better, I felt loyal to Dave. You know, and like the only time I didn't play with Dave if we didn't have a team. Okay, and you know, like I said, I love that man. You know, I love that man with all my heart. So
Finish up with that.
Me, mine's a little different, but I just love the way Butch and Al talk about how they treated them and what I must say loved them and the loyalty they gave back to Dave. I know Al gave a lot back. And I know Butch gave a lot of loyalty back to him. And it's only right. But they put that out there, reciprocate. But for me, Dave, my story is a little different. A little, maybe not funny, but it's funny to me because when I was playing in Gershwin, Dave used to always say, "Oh, you getting there, you getting there." You know, to me, I'm like, yeah, I can play a little bit, you know, play a little bit. Until we was playing, I was playing for the Kiefer team. I used to tell Chris Howard, I'm gonna hit him out. I'm gonna hit him out. He pitched for me tonight. So one day I hit him out, and then he took me to play with Brooklyn. But prior to that, I used to always go to my father to play with them on Brooklyn, but I used to sit on the bench and just play if they didn't have enough. So if they didn't have enough, I'd go in for a second until somebody come, and I go sit my ass back down. You know what I'm saying? Take it back out. You know, but it was humbling. It was great.
Right.
It was great. A lot of people need that now. A lot of these kids need that shit now.
We're gonna touch on that too, but don't worry about that.
And Dave humbled me back then, and still carrying on to me now. But then it got to the point where Dave used to pick me up every morning on Saturdays in a van with that dog used to fart. What dog is it? Paco. Yeah. And I used to be the last one to get picked up. I used to be on the floor with the dog. Rookie stuff, you know what I'm saying? Sit on the floor with the dog. The dog used to be farting. And they used to tap that shoe, tap that shoe. You know what I'm saying? Mess with me and stuff. But Dave used to take me everywhere. Whatever I wanted, I got. Whatever I needed, if I needed something, I got. They took care of everybody. So the story, you talk to anybody else, you get that same story from everybody. Dave, and to me, they might be the winningest coach in Brooklyn in softball, right?
Absolutely. I always call that Branch Rickey a softball.
Right, Branch Rickey a softball, right?
Yeah. He was the George
He took us
Steinbrenner.
everywhere, man.
Even though he hated the Yankees, he was the George Steinbrenner. Yes.
Branch Rickey.
Yeah.
He took all the blacks everywhere.
Yes, absolutely. You know, Dave integrated 2 sections of softball.
Yes, he did.
Because he was the first white guy to take black guys out there, and then he was the first white manager.
White manager, the manager of black
They used to
guys.
kill him. Yeah, and they used to wear him out in the ball. But nobody was this.
Nobody couldn't touch that. They couldn't say nothing. They
They're not saying because they were fighting to be a whole 20, 30 guys out there.
But Dave was love. I love Dave, man. And he treated my father well.
Brooklyn for life.
Be safe for.
I'm gonna jump into some quick individual questions real quick. Just tailored for you. I'm gonna start with you, Seven, because you know we always considered you 1-0 anyway. You know, you lead off the game with a 1. At the end of our first question, you started to allude towards your military history. I want you to expand on that a little bit and explain to people how that contributed to the player you became, the disciplinarian you are on the field, and just your technicality. How did that kind of become part of who you are as a softball player?
I would say the military part, it helped out a lot. It helped out a lot. Where facing adversity, humbled me, made me calm under pressure. Didn't fear nothing besides the streets, you know, but that helped out a lot too. But the military made you calm, was so much calm under pressure. Control your heartbeat. When you get at the bat or whatever, you know, no pressure, you focus. A lot of things like that. And it helped me condition. When I first came home to play with my buddy with Chris Reed, when he worked us out. When I first came home with Chris, actually, if you did, I first came home, I didn't want to play with them. Because once again, I didn't want to play with my father. But so I wanted my own stuff, you know what I'm saying? But Chris Howard was like, yo, wait for that. Your brother here, your pops here. I said, no, yeah, this won a championship. I can't play with you. But I wound up doing it because that's my pop. So I was Chris Howard, you know. But then I went to the gym to work. I actually went to the Gershwin Auditorium. Chris had us doing all these exercises and stuff, and jumping upstairs, running up the auditorium. And it was nothing to me, I just finished doing all that.
Right. I just been on.
I just did all that. Myself and Darrell also, another hungry person, Darrell McSam. And so I don't know, it was easy for Darrell also, you know. And you know, but that helped out, the military did help out. Like I said, conditioning, focus, being humble, being, you know, under control, and no fear. So that helped out a lot.
Yeah, I just wanted you to put that out there because a lot of people may not know about your military background. And me knowing you, I knew that had to be some part of your person, your demeanor. Because I just said, how the fuck is this guy so calm all the time? when things were going on. You never popped the cork, as they would say. You know, you kept it here and you was able to keep everybody else calm at the same time. So, you want to go on that?
No, you had one.
All right, so, Mr. Watson, same thing with you. You kind of started to allude towards your basketball. From my knowledge, I know you were a highly touted New York City basketball player, you know, just from our conversations. But what I want to know is, why did you stop the basketball journey? And also, what attributes did you bring from basketball into softball that made you become the player you are?
They did their homework. So they did their homework.
Basketball wise, I stopped, or my career got stopped because I had a basketball scholarship to, I went to Mercy College with a basketball scholarship. And I played my first year there, started as a freshman. And coming home that summer, fine-tuned my game, I broke my leg in Gershman Park on the side of the court. I broke my leg, snapped my patella, tore tendons, and that was it for me, basketball-wise, because I would have went back to school, but the school told my mother and father that because I broke my leg during the summer, they would have to pay half for my scholarship. And we just didn't have it, and I told her I wouldn't, no. My life, after that, I had a different life. Then I had to go get it. And so I think softball just became easier to do. I wasn't afraid of my leg. And two of my greatest attributes that I brought from basketball to softball was my leadership. So, as a point guard, I was always the captain of every basketball team I played. And I think my quickness, you know, playing against a Pearl Washington, Mark Jackson, me and Rod Strickland were like, I hated Rod. Rod was the uptown version, I was the Brooklyn dude. I hated Rod. We talked to the same girl. Like, I hated Rod Strickland. But Pearl was different. You know what I mean? So that's just my journey. That's my basketball. Yeah. So I won't go long with it. I'll pass it.
I appreciate that. Butch, you and I have a thick history. And baseball has been like your number one thing from day one. You're the historian, the Negro League lover, and all of that. So, with that being said, what I would like to ask you is, how did the love of the game fit the puzzle for you that carried you through life and also become that leader you are when you get on the baseball diamond?
They did their homework. Yeah. So, it's another emotional part for me. I was a teenage father at 14. Before that, baseball was my life. I used to watch baseball with my grandfather, so I always grew up and wanted to do baseball, you know, and we were for playing in the street, in the park, on Quincy Street, and I played Little League, but like I said, I was good. But like I said, big mistakes along the way. I'm a teenage father. So I had to get a job. And I went to work. I quit school. I went to job. I mean, I did factory jobs, this, that. Because I always wanted more. I always wanted to be better. I always wanted to do better. And baseball kept me out of trouble. You know, a lot of my friends that I knew back then got to drugs, got all messed up, went to jail, got killed. And I was always on the baseball field. When I come home from the park, you're like, yo, you heard what happened to so-and-so? Or you heard what happened to so-and-so? I was like, nah, I ain't in. I was at the ball field all day. And then, you know, you hear that they got beat up, they got, you know, stuff happened. So baseball really kept me out of trouble for the most part. The leadership thing just came. I mean, I don't think that can be taught. You know, either you have that or you don't, man. It's just something that I always tried to do better. I just didn't want to be a follower. You know, I always wanted to be the leader. I wanted people to follow me in the right direction, not in the wrong direction. So basically that's how baseball helped me stay out of trouble. And just the leadership thing, like I say, it just happened. I don't know when it happened, it just happened. So, you know, that's all I know.
Appreciate that. I appreciate the candor from all three of you. You know, being honest up front, you know, and answer the question directly. We're not playing politics right now. Like I said, I know you guys, so I'm a dig deep. You know, and Al, it's not just about Kingston Park for us. I want to know the men that you are. So the questions I pose may not be directly about the park. Absolutely. You know, so I appreciate those answers to those questions.
I know Seven has said something about, you know, when he was growing up, he used to look through the filters, he used to watch this guy.
Yes.
But I also know that there was somebody before that you wanted to idolize or be like, who is that person?
We had the same thing in common, myself and Al. Leon, start with Leon, all three of us. Leon was it. It. Leon was it, it was special. So it was hard to describe, you had to see it. You had to see it. You had to see it.
And you know what's weird about that is you guys bring him up, and I think you three or whoever played in that era will only know about this man. So that's why I wanted to know and let people know who this guy is. What did he do that made you just want to be like him in that position?
For me, first, the way he carried himself, the way he carries, but the way he played the position was extra. Because I like the infield, every way the infield. I just like the way he catched, the way he hustled, the way he charged the ball. He got every good bounce. And when he batted, he ran the ball pitch. You know, he ran the ball. He ran a fast pitch too. He ran like Lenny. He hustled out everything, every play he hustled. He ran. He just the epitome of a perfect baseball player. I don't want to say softball. Epitome of a perfect baseball player to us. And for me at that age,
Right.
to be watching behind the fence, looking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
To say, damn, that's my hero, or something like that, you know? And then to know him personally, because my father and my father were best friends at the time before he passed away.
Okay.
So he's one of my father's best friends. And, you know, he had passed away, he died. And my father was hurt. I was hurt at that age too. I was hurt. The whole league was hurt. And they put his number at shortstop.
Yep.
And they painted his number at shortstop.
Okay.
I used to go there.
What number is that?
3.
You want to add on to that? I mean, I'm just asking you to add on to it.
You know, it was 2 shortstops that were dynamic in the league, right? And it was Don. We can't forget Don from the
Absolutely.
They won 10 years in a row, right? And Don was Don, right? But what drew me to Leon was his versatility. Because when you see a lot of people that play slow pitch, they can't play fast pitch. So when you get that dynamic person that can hit it as high as you throw it, or that can hit it as fast as you can throw it, or could throw it, that was the dynamic part of Leon. So that's why he's my guy. That I wanted to challenge myself, whether it was windmill, or whether it was high off, that I really never got a chance to really hit that good. But I know that guy can do anything, and I just really wanted to emulate him. I wasn't that person that he was Because then when you walk in the park, oh shit, Leon's here.
That's right.
He had me running downstairs. Leon's here. You know, so that's
Yeah, I got you.
piggyback 7 Up said.
What you want to add on?
Intelligence. His game smarts was just ridiculous. Like throwing behind runners. Like he really started us thinking about that. Like other guys would never throw. If you notice, guys don't throw behind runners. That guy around third base real wide. I see him throw 2 or 3 guys out like that. I said, wow. You gotta know the game to do that. You know what I'm saying? And so when I in certain situations, like we yell at 2, I'm like, if this guy second round that bag too wide at third, he gets thrown out. And we've all done that.
We all do.
We've all done that. Throw behind the third, throw the home. Nobody's expecting that.
It's funny you said that.
So, you know, his intelligence.
It's good that because the way you all talk about each other and listen to the conversation, I visualize how you guys play. The way you just talked about that person, I see it. You said throw behind the runners. I've seen you throw behind all 3 of you do it. So now I'm like, you had to get that from somewhere. So for you all to say the same exact thing, now I visualize, I'm like, oh, these 3 clowns did the same thing. This dude, he did the same thing. So you had to get all that somewhere. So that's a great answer, guys. I appreciate that.
So, I want to get into this just a little bit, because I love the history you guys gave us, a little personal insight. But I got to take the trip into Kingston Park right now. We got to take the trip from the other parks into Kingston because we want to get a little bit of intel on that as well. And I'm gonna just throw one question out there, really, and y'all can play with it, flip a coin like you do any other time. Walking into Kingston Park on a Sunday, all 3 of you were marquee names on the billboard when you walked in, okay? Whether it was a good team or a bad team that you were facing that day, how did you keep your team engaged in those games? You know, where they're not like, nah, we ain't worrying about these guys this week. Where did you keep the same intensity and drive in your team? How did you keep those guys up for those games?
For me, actually, with the coaches that I played for, in the beginning of the game, I didn't have to do that. Every coach I played for in Kingston Park did that in the beginning. I might have to chime in during the game, but the preparation I had from Chris LeGree, I didn't have to say nothing. Chris LeGree was the master at that. Preparation, mind games, and everything, and had you ready. And sometimes when I was playing more better, I felt like we had the team beat before we played anyway. Because you know why? Because we was a team. Other teams wasn't a team. They hated us so much, they wanted to beat us as individual. They realized they had a team to win. They had to beat us. So they was only happy with what they did as individual instead of playing a team game. So you lost already. They wanted to beat us so bad that they felt that they might have did. They had the better team on paper, but we was a team. So we capitalized on your mistakes, but you did certain things where you wanted to beat us by yourself once again. But we was always a team. So Chris had us prepared. So I didn't have to say nothing there. That was for that team. For the Black Sox, the same thing. To me, it was the same team. It was a spawn off from a better, you know. So Reggie had us ready, more or less. This, that. In the middle of the game, something like that. You had to check somebody or say something, but preparation was there. Another level for me. Same thing. Preparation. Because we practice. All of these teams practice. So preparation was there. I didn't say nothing again. During the game, maybe chime in. But for me, I didn't have to say nothing.
My thing was, I was the vocal guy. People used to hear me all the way down on Bedford Avenue. They said, Butch, we know you playing because we can hear your mouth. I'm going to get you ready for the beginning. I'm going to try to get you focused. I just use my will to win, you know, and 99% of the times, people will follow. I mean, you know, like I said, before the game, because we didn't have, they was quiet. They were gonna call the line, they were gonna write the line up, and he gonna say, hey, call it out. So while I'm calling out, I'm getting everybody up. Let's go. We playing the team today. I'm not letting us think that this is a bad team. Because if any given Sunday, you could lose. Okay, and if you trying to get that position where you trying to play the easy teams in the playoffs, because you know in the end, you had to face them. So you want to get through those early rounds as easy as you could. So at least you got to win games during the season. So that's what, that was my preparation on trying to keep everybody focused and ready to go on, and no matter who it was. Because I took nobody for granted.
I looked at it, when you play on a bad team, you just get your ass kicked. And you just knew it was a better team, but they won with dignity, right? I played on a couple of bad teams, but got my ass kicked, right? So when I became with the good team that I wound up playing with, it wasn't about the opponent, right, that we were playing against. I always wanted my team to play the perfect game. What's the perfect game? Right? Hit behind runners, no errors, no walks. Right? Because if you do all the small stuff, it ain't about the opponent no more. Because that'll carry to the better teams. So just get into a habit. It ain't about them. It's about us. So that's what's my mindset. Don't worry about who we're playing. Just worry about us. Let's do all the small things.
That's like we handle our business.
Yeah.
They ain't got no business. They ain't got no business.
You good with that?
Hey, I couldn't have said it better. I mean, listen, these guys here, like we said, they are the cream of the crop when it comes to the infield. I'm not even going to designate you guys by a position.
Thank you.
But when it comes to the infield, you guys are the cream of the crop, and like Al and myself, we've had the pleasure of playing with all three of you at some point in time and against you. And that was just, it's something to talk about at another time for me. Mm-hmm. But it was just a wonderful experience, just having you guys just around the league and giving the league everything that you guys meant.
And I wanted to be clear, no disrespect to anybody else who played that position in that park. I'm sorry. There was nobody above these three in my category. And that's because I played behind you, played with you. And when I walked into the park with or against you, I had to be prepared for you guys as well as the team. I knew who the psychological person was if I was going against Mo Better. I knew when I played against the Black Sox, I knew who I had to get out the game. Emotionally, because he's so quiet, you don't know what he's feeling.
Yeah.
Then the loud guy, you want to try to keep him quiet.
Yeah.
So guess what? Let's get up. He ain't gonna say too much. If you get up a lot, he's not gonna say too much. But if his team is close, he's gonna bark all day. And I think that's where the dynamic of that park comes in at. When you guys define that park. And people don't look at it that way, and if they don't look at it that way, they missed out on something huge in that park. So that's what I wanted to say. When I know everybody said, why are you always talking about these three? These three always come up. Because these are the three that everybody see in that park. Unless you got something to add on that, say.
Jay-Z and
In no order. In no order. But you're 100% right. In no order. You know what I'm saying? I agree.
Before we close, can I?
We're not closing yet. What you doing? I got
Can I say
questions.
something, man?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I do have to go home tonight, right? And that park has meant so much to me as a man, right? As a friend, as a father, and as a husband, right? I met my wife out there, right? My father-in-law, my mother-in-law. My son was created because of that park. Because if it wasn't for that park, we wouldn't have been introduced. Our world would have never crossed. Right? And to this day, he's a junior at Morehouse College. with a 3.7 GPA that I am and going through the hardship with my mom being sick and just having all of this around me, it like helps the healing as I go through this fight, right? But there's one person, right, that was just interviewed here, right? I have to pay homage to this guy, right? I grew up with this guy, right? But there was a guy I didn't know, and when I came home, the league was in Gershwin before I left. And I came home with Kingston. And I remember Ray Haskins playing Kingston asked me and him and Buster come play St. John's, right? Don't know how to play that. Ray asked me. And when Ray Haskins asks you something, you don't say no. I'll try. So what's the PSP did? Try. But what Ray didn't know, I had enemies over there. Like real enemies over there. Where I was really fearful for my life to go over there. And then that guy you interviewed, the white, the Will Madison, I don't know if he knew, but every Sunday, because the project he was raised in, those are the guys that I had a pass with. So every Sunday, he had this beautiful Mercedes, and I was the passenger in it every week, and that dude made sure I got home safe to East New York. And on this cast, I just want to tell you, the white man, I love you, and I always appreciate the fact that you had my best interest at heart.
That's a good one.
Doc is a great guy.
We start off with championships and gold gloves. How many championships you got in Kingston?
9.5.
Half one.
Like that?
Yeah.
We're gonna get there. Don't worry. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Don't worry about that. I know what you're talking about. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. These are John 0.5. We're gonna get there. Cat.
I think I got, I guess, 4.5. Think of my championship.
I have, let's see, Brooklyn, TNF, AL, three. Not a lot of people want in Kingston.
No.
Not a lot of people want in Kingston, yo. So if you want in Kingston, you do this.
But let me make this clear to our audience. When we're talking about championships, we're not just talking about Kingston Park. Because combined, it's well over hundreds of championships.
And other parks and all of that.
I'm glad you guys kind of separated the other parks and just spoke on Kingston. But that's not what I was talking about. Okay, let me just be clear. You guys are the epitome of walking around with a trophy.
I would say how many between us?
Too many.
400 or 500?
Too many.
Hold on.
Which park?
Let's put a W back in this. A W.
Yo, let's be honest, like, we really stopped counting championships.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We not counting championships. We counting the good times that we had, you know, with each other. You know, to me, this is the greatest fraternity in the world. To be a softball player and be playing with your friends that you knew for 30 or 40 years, you can't ask for a better fraternity.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, at some point, we just stopped counting championships. I mean, I don't even know how many parks we wanted.
Try to win them, but we stopped counting.
We stopped counting because, you know, it was about just, yo, we get together next year and playing? Yeah. And that's only because we was playing with them. We was playing with y'all. It wasn't about really winning championships. It was about being with our friends, guys that we helped grow ourselves, you know, and the leagues.
But we ain't gonna lose, though.
And right, we didn't want to lose. So, like, we didn't count championships. We just won.
I know where you going.
You damn right.
Yeah.
9.5.
What happened for it to be a half? And why?
I couldn't tell you why. It's a possibility, but he was playing roll better, correct? And yeah, the second half. It's the second comment roll better. After the split. But anyway, we was up, I think, 3-1. We was up 3 games.
It was up 3-1.
3-1. It was an altercation on the field, and instead of Ray calling the game, Ray Haskins, he was commissioner of the umpire. Commissioner called, instead of calling the game and resuming play, he did it the whole championship and gave cold championships to the teams, which is unfair. So that's what happened. That's what the 0.5 comes in. So,
do you think it was justified?
yeah, the altercation was slide. Yeah, that was a slide. Yeah.
So there's a follow-up question.
Yeah.
Was that a bad slide?
I don't think so. It was a hard slide. Aggressive slide. Aggressive. And that's what we, at that time, we do that. We slide.
I think it was a bad slide. I think Derek's chest hit James. Derek's foot hit James in the chest. And I know with these guys, they ran so hard. And I'm a shortstop.
Aggressive.
And you had to get out the way.
Aggressive.
But never to kick him. And his foot, you pop up, like, come on. I just, from that side, that's what it looked like to me. And that was why my reaction, what it was.
I played with D-Mac, so I've always known him to slide.
Through the slide.
Through the slide. That's why I was asking the question if that was a bad slide. Right. Okay. Yeah.
You used to come out, not intention to hurt him, but we slide through to break up the play. That's what we do.
You better get out the way if you're a second base. But do you think that slide had anything to do with
Absolutely.
this team's being split up?
Those teams been split up.
The two different teams that were playing against each other had once played together.
No,
But it was some sort of a rivalry between.
For the rival was Chris. That was Chris being on the team.
Right. That's what I mean. Not the players, but
Yeah,
because
the rivalry was us. Wasn't even them. The rivalry was us playing against Chris.
Right.
Technically.
Right.
So it was already
That was my
tension.
motivation.
It was already tension before the game when he said like it was
Oh yeah,
tension.
that's my motivation for Chris. It wasn't. It could have been the Mets, but Chris was managing. That was my motivation. That's what it was. Yeah, it was Chris.
Why you was?
I need that. It's good. It's good baseball. It's good. I'll get something get you up.
Right.
Something get you up.
Yes, that's good. That's good. I like that.
Especially I get bored. Gonna be a competitor. I don't know you're a competitor.
Yeah.
You need something to get you up sometimes.
That's right. That's right.
And Chris kept me motivated. That's why I feel that we lost to Brooklyn that time. He didn't show up.
Yes.
We was up in that series.
It was a 3-1.
We was up 3-1 in the series against Brooklyn. To go to the championship that Sunday, Chris Agreed didn't show up that
No.
day.
No. And we came back and won.
They came back and reverse swept us. He got the championship.
Yeah.
She didn't come that Sunday.
Yeah. He did because he was with us. He was with us because Boba didn't come back.
But we didn't have a team that year. Chris
Right.
played with Brooklyn.
Yes.
And he wanted to win another championship that
I'm
year.
with you, man.
Let me finish to the slide. If the positions were reversed and James made that pivot to me, Derek would have never did that. And Derek has come at me 100 times, never like that. And I know what he was doing. He was sending a message to James. This is my part.
Get out the way.
But as a leader and a guy that asked me to come, if I don't stand up for James and the rest of those other guys, then I don't get Wayne coming back.
Right.
Just like if I was at James' Park and some white person called me a nigger, it's their responsibility to check that motherfucker. I had to check Derek. Had to. Because I would expect anybody else, if I was in his situation, I would hope that I wouldn't have to say a word.
But that's you being the leader on that team. That, you know what I'm saying? That's exactly what that is. You being the leader on that team and you felt that you got to take your away. You know what I'm saying? And he must have did that. You're right.
We're gonna close out, brothers.
Okay.
And
We appreciate y'all.
no, we appreciate you.
No, this is
Appreciate you. We appreciate you guys giving us your time. I know on your day off, y'all could have been doing other things, and I'm glad my last day is going
great.
great. This is dope. You know, like you said, it's a great fraternity.
It's a great fraternity.
I just want one more question, then we can. That's it. You guys played in Kingston so long. Where do you think the league went bad from your perspective? And each one of y'all, and then we're gonna close out on that.
For me, number one, I think a lot of mergers in the league. A lot of people was trying to make teams just to beat the top team, and it was taken away from like the nucleus of a team. And then you wouldn't have a team somewhere. Then you had, I'm gonna give an example. Jeff's teams, I don't know what Jeff. Twins. Each year, they would get a group from a different team to make a team and take them away from the team. That's my opinion. That's what I see. And I seen that. Then you got other teams that seen the same teams winning and they want to come back to the league no more.
Okay.
And then you got those two things. Then you got other people saying it was the rah-rah stuff, quote unquote. You know, but to me that was just the hype. That was the hype and stuff like that. You know, but I really think it was the mergers and people getting tired of the redundancy of the same people running over and over, or the same group of people going, and they feel like they didn't have a chance anymore. You know, but otherwise, that's why they went down. And then the younger guys, it wasn't enough for them to keep the league going, especially at the caliber we had it up here. So it started dwindling and dwindling and dwindling. Then it was less teams, and it got less. Then it got to get watered down, and people like myself, I wasn't enthused anymore. They tried to go other places to play, wasn't enthused, and that was it. That was it. And the aura, the ambiance of that park, it's crazy. And so it wasn't just for us, it was the fans, the people outside, the area, the community. It was everybody outside, they was watching games, you know. But that's
Hot dog man.
that was it basically. You know, that's in my opinion, that's what I think.
For me personally, I lost the luster come out there. It was one day, a friend of mine, one of my good friends, told me he heard something, that I got into something, and they showed up to the park. And for me, I knew it was different, because it was bad intentions. And you know, when you bring your backpack, and you bring your bat, your glove, towels, and when you got something else in it, it's time to quit. So I'll say it was just time to quit for me. And I don't know, for me it went bad that moment. Some of my friends showed up to the park because they heard people planning on trying to do something to me. But
That chasing you at the park.
not chasing.
I don't have it.
Not chasing out the park. I walk out the park with my head held high. Never ran, never will, never ducked, never dodged. That was it for me.
I don't know. Me, once Brooklyn didn't come back, basically that was it. I played with another level just because it was them. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah, just because it was them. I think like early on we tried to get teams from other leagues to come. And not everybody could play at that pressure.
No.
You know? So people say, oh, we heard about Kingston, da 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 da. You had to be on your A game when you came to Kingston. Because the fans tackle you just as bad as everybody else. So a lot of teams weren't like that. They couldn't put up with that. So when we tried to get other teams into the league, you know, it just wouldn't happen. And then like, you know, we had a couple of fights during seasons. Things didn't go well, you know. And then the thing just died. It just died. And that was a shame. That was a shame.
Mike White, I love you.
Stupid! Let's close out like this. One word, Kingston Park. What did it mean to you? One word.
What it mean?
What it mean to you, Kingston Park, that league? One word.
Life.
Everything. Sports. Family.
Can't get no better than that.
Thank you, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Love you
Appreciate
guys,
it.
man. Love you guys, yo.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely, yo.
7.
My brother, man. I love you, boy.
Love you back.
Absolutely, yo. Absolutely. Trifecta, baby.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.